Welcome everyone. So I'm going to be talking about Qwilfish. All right, this is going to be a really interesting one. So, oof, man, Qwilfish was bad. It had Intimidate, yeah, but its stats just were not very good at all. Obviously, it got an evolution in Legends Arceus, but that's only with regional Qwilfish anyways, and it hasn't been in a real game since then. Um, who knows? Maybe they'll have it in Gen 9, but um, that's not the point here, right? Because this is an isolated hack, and I can't even add evolutions if I wanted to. Um, but I don't. I would rather them be on their own anyways. So Qwilfish, okay. Um, so they do keep Intimidate, and that's an amazing ability, but they have lost Swift Swim in exchange for a new ability called Instinct for two reasons. Number one, because Instinct is a better ability, and number two, because despite having Swift Swim, literally all of their dex entries talk about how it's a poor swimmer. Like here, you can read like half of the entries just say it's bad at swimming. It finds swimming to be challenging. It's a poor swimmer. So I don't see why I would have Swift Swim to begin with. It wasn't a bad ability. It was obviously a good ability, actually, but I prefer Instinct. I also like the fact that it has two abilities that activate upon switching. So obviously Intimidate drops the opponent's attack stat. So that basically gives you like about roughly 30% defense boost each time. Depends on like you can also use it to support your teammates. We know what Intimidate does. We know how good it is, okay? Um, and your other ability is Instinct, and what that ability does is it functions like Download. So you will essentially get a +1 attack or a special attack boost, depending on whether or not, depending on the opponent's stats. And the good thing about that is you can very much control what stat boost you're getting. So if you know what they're going to send out, or you know what's on the field, you can literally just look up which stat is higher, and then look at the investment and whatever in the nature, and then just switch it in. It's that simple, and you get a free choice band or choice specs boost. So Qwilfish now has base 95 in both. I didn't feel like any stat at all makes sense to be over 100 looking at them. Not that 95 is bad, it is not at all, because 95 defense with Intimidate is great. I mean, I was already reaching, like these stats are already like weirdly high for Qwilfish, but again, he kind of needed these stats to be like viable. In this hack because of the large power levels. So yes, he is very nice and bulky. He did keep the 65 base HP. I considered making it a little bit higher because I guess he can technically puff up and shit, but I don't see it. He's a tiny little pufferfish. 65 base HP is pretty fair. So Water Poison, as we all know from Toxapex, has a massive amounts of resistances. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 resists, and only 3 weaknesses, which is incredible. And of course, one of those weaknesses it actually hits super effectively with its stab move, being ground. So with Intimidate and all of that great typing, that great bulk, and it has access to a signature move now that I'm going to cover in a second. You can also just read it on the sheet if you can read and are looking at this instead of listening. You can also just read what it does, but I'll explain why that's good in a second. But yeah, Instinct with 95 base offensive. So I did boost up the special defense. I boosted up all the special, basically all the stats besides attack and HP are just a little bit higher, with special attack having a giant boost as well as special defense. Just because, I mean, he needs to be bulkier, so 80 base special defense is kind of fair for it, and then 95 special attack just so they're a mixed attacker so they can take full advantage over the ability Instinct. So again, I'm going to show you guys. So 95 base attack or special attack, depending on what set you're running. So another thing you need to keep in mind is that in this hack, you have access to infinite ability capsules and instant EV training. So what you should be doing is cycling between your sets depending on the occasion, depending on whatever's in front of you, depending on your individual Qwilfish's nature and IVs. If you have like good IVs in both and a solid nature, then you can just swap between physical and special sets. Depending on whatever boss fight is coming up, you can easily just swap. Same goes for Instinct and Intimidate. If you need the offensive power, you run Instinct. If you need the defensive or utility use, I guess that was a weird way to word that. If you need the defense or the utility, then you run Intimidate. It's really that simple. And yeah, base 95 attack or special attack at +1 is equal. If you have max investment and a neutral nature, you're hitting 433 attack or special attack. So that's incredible, 433, and you can control that. So you can guarantee that you're going to get an attack boost or a special attack boost depending on when you switch it in. And of course, you can always just change your because you have all of the, like, yes, you have all this great moves by level up, which I'm going to cover, but at the end of the day, you can just reteach stuff by a TM. So you have like Scalds, or you have tons of great stab moves and coverage moves on both sides here. Mostly, especially, you only have coverage. Physical coverage is good, but you have some unique stuff. Also, quickly, I want to address why it has Wild Charge. I know it's weird as fuck. I know it's a water type, but it had Shockwave and Thunder Wave, so I was like, you know what? why not just give it Wild Charge with the coverage? It's fine. I feel like Thunderbolt and Thunder are kind of stupid in the reach, but Wild Charge is fair, I guess. I mean, he has Shockwave and Thunderwave after all. You know, it's a ROM hack after all, so I think it's fine. Yeah, if it were up to me, I could just remove Shockwave and Thunderwave, but then that feels kind of pointless, you know. So back on topic. Yeah, 433 attack and special attack is equal to what? Base like, oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Base 167. All right. So 95 ounces is equal to base 167 attack or special attack after one boost, and you can guarantee that boost. So Qwilfish is extremely powerful, and it has access to tons of priority. So it has access to Bubble Shot and Sludge Shot on the special side, Poison Dart and Aqua Jet and Sucker Punch and First Impression on the physical side, and Shockwave. So Shockwave, Bubble Shot, Sludge Shot are all special priority moves, and then physical priority moves are Aqua Jet, Poison Dart, First Impression, and Sucker Punch. And those are all great options for it, of course. You also have access to Nasty Plot and Swords Dance on both sides of the spectrum to set up if you want to go with that plus Instinct or that plus Intimidate. That's awesome. But of course, Intimidate is great for utility. And now before I get into all the nitty gritty of the moves and stuff, I do want to cover how good their signature move is. So they have a signature move. It comes from Minimize, and what that, well, the animation is Minimize's animation, and what that does is it is a 3 PP move that will heal you 100%. So in this hack, you don't have access to healing items in battle. You can't use potions. So most Pokemon have access to like a 50% healing move, you know, like Recover type move. For example, Aqua Ring. Most water types, if not all water types, have access to Aqua Ring, and that is water type Recover now. Basically, every type has an equivalent of Recover for this game. So every Pokemon has the option to run reliable recovery moves. There's like maybe 3 or 4 Pokemon in the entire hack that don't have a reliable recovery move. To be honest, there's very few. What was I saying? What was I just talking about? Oh, yeah. Deflate. So despite having that, later on at level 46, you get access to Deflate. And what that does, again, it's priority, 3 PP, heals you to full. So instead of healing you by half, it heals you to full HP no matter what. And again, that's priority. So it's essentially like a max potion. Like that move is just 3 max potions in one move slot. And the best part is the Z effect will give you an Omni Boost, +1 to all of your stats. Of course, that uses the Poison Z Crystal, excuse me, which is only when you reach Pony Island. So, you'll have to wait like maybe 10 levels ish until you can actually use Z Deflate, which is just for balancing reasons. But by the time you realize, okay, wait, my Qwilfish is really strong and useful, but it's it's kind of falling off a little bit. That's when you'll get the Poison MZ around that time period, and then you can use the Z Omni Boost Z Deflate sets, and those sets are incredible because you get +1 speed, so you become very fast at 95 base speed. Get +1 attack or special attack. So depending on what ability you're running, again, this is priority, so you don't have to worry about your speed stat. You get the instant Omni Boost with priority. So that's so good. I mean, you can run Instinct, and now you're at +2 attack, +1 speed, +1 defense, +1 special defense, and you're super tanky, and you're super fast, and you're super strong. You're at +2 offenses, and that's instant. And you can use that in conjunction with moves like Finishing Blow. Finishing Blow will give you +3 attack if you knock them out, which is great. That's like from Felsinger. So yeah, you can snowball out of control. You can get that +1 speed, you can get that +1 to your bulk, you can take hits really nicely, and then once you hit a Finishing Blow, if you have an attack boost from Instinct, and you have the +1 from the move, now you're at +5 physical attack. And again, you do have priority, and you do have other great options as well for your physical sets, such as Waterfall, which is water type close combat, or Surging Strikes, which is 10% inaccurate, meaning it's 90% accuracy. And it's also slightly weaker than Waterfall, but it hits 3 times, so that bypasses stuff like Focus, Sash, and Sturdy, and of course it crits, so it bypasses stuff like Intimidate, which is awesome. But yeah, Intimidate sets on yourself are amazing for utility. That's what Qwilfish has always been good at, and competitive. Obviously, this is in-game stuff, but it can really be a great pivot. It can be a great bulky just support mon. It has access to Parting Shot, which is awesome. Parting Shot Intimidate is great. It's got T-Spikes, Toxic, Acid Spray, Soak. Z-Soak will give you +2 special attack. Scary Face is -2 speed, -1 attack, which is nice. You have access to Spiky Shield and Baneful Bunker, which are niche little options you can use, to either deal damage or poison them. Also, Black Sludge is buffed in this hack. Black Sludge heals slightly more than leftovers now. Black Sludge will heal 8% as opposed to 6%. I should probably nerf this Big Root. I feel like 100% is excessive. I'd probably make it like 50% or 75% or something, or just double to 60. Because 100% is crazy, I'm not gonna lie. Even if I only give you one, I'm pretty sure you can get Big Root besides the one that you pick up. I'm pretty sure you can get it from like one of the dust clouds or something. So I might have to nerf that to 60%. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty overpowered. Especially with all the healing moves like Strength Slap and Giga Train and Drain Punch and all these other moves, it's really strong. So I might have to remove that, or nerf it a little bit. So to the point where it's still really good, but not anything crazy. But this is not relevant in Qwilfish's case. He doesn't get any draining moves. And he's so strong. So yeah, Instinct, immense power. Intimidate, immense utility. Switch between those whenever you need it. You do have great coverage. You know, physically you have Takedown, Wild Charge, Hell Thrust, Sucker Punch, of course, Stab, Spike Cannon, First Impression, Lunge. You know, you got a lot knockoff. You got good stuff right there. Payback, etc. It's not like the best coverage in the entire world, but it's good. And then physically, so especially you have better coverage, arguably. You have Shockwave, Ice Beam, Stab, of course. Oh, also physically you have Zen Headbutt as well. Especially you have Stab, Ice Beam, Blizzard, Sludge. Oh, Stab, that's Stab. Focus Blast is important. Nature Power and Natural Gift. Natural Gift becomes any type in the game, and it becomes 110 base power and is a special move. Of course, you can only use that once with the berry, and it'll eat up the berry. So, for example, if you ran, I don't know, Aka Berry, Qwilfish with Instinct, you can get a 110 base power fire type move to sweep, you know, to buy, like, oh crap, there's a, I don't know, fucking Ferrothorn or whatever. Okay, you run you run Aka Berry Natural Gift, and now you can sweep that trainer. Say you're Qwilfish. Say you're Qwilfish. You know, you click Nasty Plot on that first turn because you're faster than whatever the lead Pokemon is or something, or you bypass Taunt somehow. You get that, or you know, you kill the lead, you get Taunt up on the second Pokemon, and then their entire team will die to your moves besides Ferrothorn, and you're like, oh shit, Ferrothorn, I don't want to risk Focus Blast missing, and I don't even know if I kill at my +2, whatever. Let me run Aka Berry Natural Gift. Now you can bypass that. So that's a great use of all, literally basically every special attacker in the game has access to that. So it's not anything special, but it is very handy for Qwilfish. Of course, you also have like Agility, if you want to use that, as well as you know, Nasty Plot, Sword Stance. You also have Iron Defense, which is pretty cool with the healing move. So Deflate, I mean, Deflate is so good. I mean, yeah, it only has 3 PP, but that's 3 free max potions, and in a hack where most of your moves are not priority healing, and they only heal 50%, and they're only 5 to 8 PP, 8 if they're maxed out. You know, having only 2 less uses, but getting priority and full HP is a great trade-off. It's a great move. Super cool signature move. I was worried that Qwilfish, despite all of these awesome new tools, would still be one of the lower tier Pokemon in this hack, which is fine. I mean, not every okay, yes, every Pokemon is definitely viable. That's for sure. Every Pokemon is great, but there are some that might be a little bit better than others. Not in terms of outclassing, because every Pokemon will be unique and have its own little things that it can do. But you know, it might be a little bit better. Like, yeah, would you rather have Qwilfish or fucking Darkrai or something? I don't know why Darkrai came to mind, but you know, like, honestly, I'd rather use Qwilfish personally. Darkrai is awesome, but Qwilfish actually has a lot of utility, so Darkrai. I mean, Darkrai doesn't. No, that's not relevant yet. I don't know why I thought of that. I just thought of a random legendary came to mind. Not that legendaries are OP. They are not at all. Most legendaries are balanced with the players using them in mind. They are on par with, like, you know, stronger Pokemon, but they are still balanced and usable. Maybe if you had a full team of them, it might be excessive, but that's not something to talk about yet. You also have stuff like Bar Barrage, which will always poison. That's 60 base power overall, hits 3 times. That's pretty cool. Bubble Barrage is the same but special, and instead of poisoning at lower speed by -3, because each hit will allow lower speed, so that's pretty cool. Acid Spray is great. Stockpile, Swallow, Spew Out is great with your bulky sets with Intimidate, and you can also really take advantage of like Stockpile or Iron Defense plus Deflate, and you could just become super tanky. So like Stockpile, Spew Out, Deflate is an awesome set, or Swallow. Swallow is actually very similar to Deflate because it does all priority. However, Swallow, so basically, if you click Stockpile once and then you Swallow on the very next turn, now you'll be healing 100% HP. I did buff it that way, so now you heal 100% no matter what, and that has priority. So it is very similar to Deflate, but of course that only works if you have Stockpile set up, and it also removes your Stockpile boost, while Deflate does not. And Deflate has the added benefit of giving you a Z Omni boost, which is, again, one of the best parts of it. You know, so for late game, Pony Island, you can run that Z Deflate and just go to town. I mean, you can then, dude, you're super tanky, and then once they get you low, you can just heal up. it's such an awesome option to have. Qwilfish is super, super awesome there with Intimidate or Instinct. With Instinct, it's extremely strong, and Intimidate, it's extremely bulky. So, and it can support your team. You know, you can set up stuff for your teammates. You can team parting shot, whatever you want to do. It's really fucking cool and useful. So honestly, I think that's about it. There's really not too much else to talk about. You know, you have other utility stuff like Destiny Bond if you're not doing a Nuzlocke, or Explosion, which is buffed. Explosion is special, 250 base power, but it always crits, so it's 275 base power, which is the only way I could make it stronger, because I can't. The base power cap is 255. Also because I just think it's cool. What else is there? Bubble Burst is nice. That is a 105 base power, 90% accurate move that lowers speed by 1. Acid Reflux is nice. That poisons and drops speed by 3. Sorry, special defense by 3 rather, or 4, excuse me. Yeah, -4 special defense and poisons, which is a really useful utility move to teach via tutor. I did consider Prankster for them, but I figured Instinct is a lot better. Again, also, if you're wondering why Instinct fits, I didn't mention this yet. Instinct fits perfectly, given that he is literally a pufferfish, and they have, you know, the instinctual desire, the instinctual reaction to just puff themselves up. Like here it says, you know, but this is why it has Intimidate. It's the same logic as Intimidate. Any Pokemon that has Intimidate, I could theoretically give Instinct as well. You know, he has the prey animal instinct to just puff up and, you know, defend itself. But in this case, instead of becoming, like, basically the logic is he puffs himself up and intimidates the foe, or he puffs himself up and boosts his own stats. That's kind of the logic for why I gave it Instinct. I think that's super cool. And yeah, Swift Swim is useful, but it's not as good as Instinct for sure, and because Instinct is a free boost, while Swift Swim is conditional. Not that it's bad; it's a great ability, but also Swift Swim makes no sense if you read the dex. And nothing about this thing implies that it should be swimming fast. The only reason I give it 95 speed is because it kind of needs the feed, and also because I don't see him being super slow. I just don't see him being like Swift Swim. You know, like I don't see him having an ability that is literally named like he swims fast, you know, like that doesn't make sense. But if he wants, you know, he can have like a 90, 95 base speed. I think that's reasonable. He already had 85, so it's not that much higher. It is a good speed tier though. It is a crowded speed tier, but at +1 speed, it's great with Z deflate, so, or agility for early game. So yeah, that's about it. Qwilfish is a super, super useful mon now. Super cool, super fun to use. There is a high skill cap on using it. It's not as Unga Bunga. I mean, honestly, you could just use Unga Bunga Instinct and just kill things. You know, Specs Instinct with priority, just or Choice Band Instinct with physical priority, like First Impression, Sucker Punch. You could literally just run 4 priority moves and Choice Band Instinct and U-turn. Instinct plus U-turn is a great option as well. You can hit and run there, or Instinct plus Parting Shot. So that's really cool. Yeah, not too much else to cover, so I hope you guys found this informative. If you are new here and you like this kind of video, you think this hack is interesting, you can check it out in the description below. You can look at all the changes for yourself. These are live, meaning this hack is not completed yet. I am updating these live as I finish. But you can check those out in the description, and you can see all of the move changes for yourself and all the new abilities and all the Pokemon buffs and shit. You can also feel free to join my Discord server. All I ask in exchange is that you subscribe and share this kind of video, you know, leave a comment. That would be helpful for the algorithm. Like the video, all that stuff really helps my videos get recommended to more people. So that's really all I ask for in exchange. So I really appreciate your time, and I hope you enjoyed. Bye-bye.